I am very fortunate to be with Cary Goss of Adobe, and who was kind enough to host and sponsor this. Thank you for making it happen.
You're welcome.
You told me we were talking last night about sort of the suite of tools for publishers and marketers that Adobe has, and you very much so have a very high value, high touch offering for publishers and marketers, and we were trying to figure out how to dissect it, and you had a very interesting epiphany when you walked in the building today. I would love for you to share it.
Yeah. So we're in the Leo Burnett building in Chicago, and when you think about the people in this room and the people in this building and how that relates to Adobe, and you think about at this very moment that our tools are being used to create advertising, right? Either through Photoshop or Flash. Our tools are being used to create websites via CQ. Our tools are being used to help their clients manage their websites through products like Test and Target. We have inventory relationships already with VivaKey. We have ad targeting through dynamic ad targeting solutions that we use through Publicis and SMG clients. And so when you kind of look across all of the things that are going on in this building right now, we're touching the process of how the agency makes things, about how they manage things, about how they mobilize things through things like tablets and mobile devices. And then we even kind of continue the further part of it about helping the measurement component of things, and then obviously helping our clients monetize.
So according to Comscore, you guys are a pretty big video player right now. I mean, pretty substantial. So you came to Adobe through the acquisition of Auditude,
correct?
Right? Talk a little bit about that acquisition, Auditude, how that fits into the larger offering that Adobe has today.
Yeah, it's been interesting over the past year when you call up a media buyer planner type and say, "Hi, I'm from Adobe. I'd like to come in and see you," and they're kind of like, "Okay, I'm not really sure what we're going to be meeting about, but come on in and talk to us," right? So the interesting sort of capability that Adobe's been off doing is doing some acquisitions as of late. One of those being Auditude. Auditude is a video ad serving platform, and so as a result of that, we help large publishers from Dailymotion to Major League Baseball to Comcast, do their ad insertion. So as a result of that, we've also in a lot of those cases negotiated monetization rights to their inventory. So all of a sudden, the Adobe brand or the Auditude Adobe brand is ranked within the top 10 video players within Comscore, and that starts to make you a pretty interesting individual when you walk through the door, offering everything from full episode player to live to top premium content that can be delivered, of course, across the U.S. and internationally.
Can you talk a little bit about some of your publisher partners? I know you have a deep relationship with MLB and a few others. What that gives you as far as a market proposition for agencies and for advertisers?
Yeah, so that's kind of how I started this off. Adobe has relationships with publishers on so many different levels, right? So, we're helping them create their own sites. We're helping them create, in the case of offline businesses, their magazines and the tools that they use. And as they start to migrate online, we're helping them mobilize their content into the tablet and mobile spaces. And then from there's a lot of chances where we're going to continue to move that forward and help them monetize their content. So think about us. We have no interest in kind of building a network on par with an Undertone or a Collective or things like that. That's not our core business, right? We're there to help our customers. We're helped to expand, obviously, the relationships that we have with them. And in the case of those customers that we have the responsibility as the custodian of their first-party data, it's now how do we to continue the dialogue into how do we assist you on taking that information, making better marketing decisions, making better ways for you to help monetize your content. And so we're investing and doubling down in the amount of technology and focus we are to assist those clients.
So I think it would be really valuable because I really want to dive into the data that you have and what that allows for as far as media performance and monetization.
Yep.
So if we can maybe walk through a case study, right? Acme brand,
okay.
And they have, let's say they're with one holding company. The digital agency is building out their .com, which they're going to monetize through advertising, right, and partnerships. The media agency within the holding company buys their digital and their above-the-line media, buys through the line. They have a traditional agency that's also doing their creative, as well as then extending that to other channels from a publishing perspective. So tell me about the Adobe, because that value proposition I think is where we got to last night. That was of greatest interest to me.
Yeah. Taking a step back, when you take a look at our acquisition of Omniture, and so our site catalyst measurement products, we have roughly 70 to 80% of the world's first-party data under management, both on the publisher side of the house as well as the advertiser side of the house. So you take a banking client, for example, right, where both you and I, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, used to have a relationship with a bank whereby you would go inside of it, you would talk to a teller, you would say hi. I remember the good old days where you even had a passbook, right? You go in and that's how you kind of got money. Nowadays, my relationship with my bank is primarily online, and that relationship extends on my ability to access my accounts and transfer money and pay bills and scan things and all the things that are fantastically generated via technology, right? So if you can imagine for a moment that we're helping these banks use their websites to cross-promote offers, to tee up new offers, because we know, based on the analytics that we have in the background, we know who you are, we know what products that you have, we know how you got here, we know how long you've been here, your frequency, et cetera. And so we're working with the marketing departments to be able to sit there and say, hey, we want to put control back into your hands so that you can do everything from offer multivariate testing to teeing up and doing product launching. In this particular sort of example, this particular bank, has only about 30 to 35% visibility into their existing core customer base because they've chosen not to use any sort of data behind their authenticated areas to be able to target, their existing customer base. And so when you're using tactics like trying to rely on log-off pages and things like that to identify who your current customer is, it's very limiting. So imagine being limited with the key place that you're actually having your relations go on with your core customers, being able to A, only reach 30% of them, and B, not really knowing who is this person, what products do they have, and so again, more waste goes into the things that you're doing. So with the idea in this particular example, we have global tags on every single one of their pages. And they have the ability now to literally come in and say, okay, you guys are, we have a very large master services agreement in place. You guys are the custodians of this information for us. Help us get a better understanding of actually using this, both site-side, and then the future is taking that information off site-side and putting it out into the field for advertising, either both in display and video. So, the holy grail here is imagine an automotive company where you can see somebody come in and configure a Chevy Tahoe, and they've spent some time changing colors and patterns and tires, and then they leave. Wouldn't it be a great idea to be able to hit a 5 to 10x frequency over the next 5 days in a fantastic 30-second spot that just has launched the new design of the Tahoe, and being able to have that sort of level of comfort and degree of targeting, basically using the data that you've already been collecting.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have a couple different holy grails in the advertising agency business, right? Whether it's media or it's digital. It's like, and I think that's what, for me, that I've learned by virtue of, the last sort of 48 hours really diving deep, is I feel like there's this world of marketing communications and then digital touch points, which are really your sort of online CRM channels, right? Which for a bank, that's your online banking services. For a consumer electronics company, that's your online customer service. And actually now creating, you guys are the connective tissue to marry that to advertising, right? I think it's something that we've been trying to do for our clients for a long time that has been challenging. I mean, tell me about sort of the engagement model and building that connective tissue. I mean, we talked a little bit about the challenges, legal are some. What are some of the things that in servicing clients you really need to consider on the agency side of the business, whether you're digital or your media buying, et cetera?
Yeah, a lot of the sort of things, you hit one of them, right? One of the things you run into when you're working with client teams and agency teams representing those clients it kind of falls into, can I get past this legally, can I get past it philosophically, and can I get past it technically, right? And so a lot of the things like, let's talk about simple retargeting, right? So, clients have been retargeting for years, and they've been using certain amounts of visitation data to be able to do that seamlessly. When you start tapping into new layers of data that they're collecting, it starts to bring up a whole new sort of scab of, okay, can we go that deep with our first-party data? And we as a company want to walk hand in hand with our agency partners and our clients. To be able to navigate that sort of next future of what we do with it. Adobe technically has been a very big enterprise-wide software company, right? And so, changing the ship from being, hey, let me sell you software to help you solve business problems is a big focus of ours. And so when you sit down and you're working with companies and having to address their needs and really get your sort of arms wet in the beast of, okay, what are you trying to accomplish? How can our tools and technology or data or whatever help you reach that new customer or target them better or understand more about the insights about how to empower my marketing campaigns. I think that's a very big business that we've been investing in heavily and frankly going towards. But because of the software sort of mentality and DNA of the company, we're in a unique position because we like to partner, right? So if you're a third-party data company, let's partner with you, right? If you're a measurement company, we can partner with you. And we have to service a lot of different masters between holding companies and publishers and advertisers. We kind of take a very sort of passive stance in the idea of however you need to get however you need to get sort of the solution put together that's going to make most sense to solve your business. You know, we're frankly out there trying to make that bridge and be that sort of glue that you're talking about to make that a reality.
Do you think that Creative Cloud's new pricing model of a monthly subscription fee versus a software license once and done, do you think that's going to sort of proliferate more, you know, self-publishing, sort of consumer-generated premium publishing, and how do you think that will affect the data sets that you guys have access to serve advertisers?
Well, I mean, if you take a look, we just released our earnings last week, and if you take a look at the numbers and kind of get into it, the Creative Cloud, so where we're going is we're taking a lot of our tools and we're pushing them into the cloud. So instead of being able to distribute the software, instead of trying to pay a certain price, we're actually doing a monthly or an annual license on our content, and we're finding that it is ahead of sort of our projections. It is a big model of where the company's moving, and I think that it will kind of support how people are working. So we've actually recently launched kind of a collaborative video editing tool, right? So imagine the ideas now where you've got people in different states and different regions and different buildings all collaborating together to serve a common goal where, you know, just 10 to 15 years ago it's produce. Because of the size of the file, I've got to write it to a disk, I've got to throw it in FedEx, I've got to send over to this guy. I mean, just imagine the time and speed you hit to market by being able to do that. So, you know, I think for us, cloud computing is extremely important. It's vital to our future.
Yeah.
You know, we have made huge investments into it. The creative tool side of the business is extremely important from a revenue perspective. But I think what we're finding is that the stickiness of what you can do, the value of what you get once we start layering on new products, the ability for you to, when you start creating ads, you know, in Photoshop, start, you know, natively using tags and putting in your site catalyst information to be able to do that, so that the speed in which you can now set these things up are you know, kind of transforming the way that people are publishing. That goes down to the individual level. It doesn't necessarily pertain to just agencies or big companies, but down to mom, pop store, all the way, you know, all the way through the group.
Well, it goes back to what we were saying in the last panel, is that you know, if it's cloud-based, that's an audience basically for you, and all of a sudden that adds to the data, which makes what you have a lot more valuable.